Matt Morgan versus AJ Styles in the first of their best-of-3 series, with the winner joining Sting and the TNA World Champion, whoever that may be, in the main event at Hard Justice. Later tonight, Matt Morgan begins his 3-match series against AJ Styles. But now let's go to Lauren for pre-match comments from the Blueprint.
You have made it crystal clear that you have arrived.
How you like your boy now, huh, Lauren? Huh? Just as good as advertised, but better maybe, huh? Let me make something else crystal clear to you, Lauren, and everybody else out there. None of these opportunities have just been handed to the Blueprint on a silver platter. I've scraped, crawled, and scratched for every one of these opportunities. For myself, by myself. And tonight, I get an opportunity to secure my spot in the Mafia. I made no secret about I want in the main event Mafia, Lauren. They represent everything I want out of professional wrestling today. Fame, fortune, and power. If I could beat AJ Styles in a best 2 out of 3 series of matches, hell, then I'm in the main event at Hard Justice. I've said it all along since I've stepped foot here in TNA, Lauren, that Matt Morgan's a pay-per-view main event moment just waiting to happen. Well, tonight, it's gonna happen.
Wow, all right. I believe that JB is standing by with AJ Styles. JB?
Well, thank you very much, Lauren. In fact, I'm going to be joined by the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, momentarily. But first, fans, all the backstage news, all the gossip I can't even tell you about right here on the air, you can get right now. Text TNA to 81676 on your mobile phones, absolutely free of charge, and I will send this information directly out to your mobile phones. You can also find us online at Twitter. TNA Online is our username. AJ Styles, come on in here, set to do battle tonight, re-entering the TNA World Heavyweight title picture with your matchup against Matt Morgan. However, I do have to note, it's been a couple of rough weeks for you, sir. Going back 2 weeks to the Legends Championship loss against Kevin Nash. Last week, we all saw what happened with Eric Young. AJ, are you ready for this matchup tonight?
Let me say this. Maybe I did underestimate Kevin Nash. And for that, he's the Legends Champion. Now, as far as Eric Young is concerned, I never saw it coming. I guess the best thing about AJ Styles is probably the worst. I see the good in everyone. And it came back and bit me. Eric, you were one of the TNA originals. And now, you're no different than the main event Mafia. Our paths will cross again. And when they do, I'll make you wish you were never born. Now, on to Matt Morgan. Bigger? Yes. Stronger? Yes. More intimidating? Sure. But he's just like the guys that I grew up with. Bullies. And I was the guy that take on those bullies. Matt Morgan, you're looking for a fight? You have found it. One match at a time.
Up next, it's match number 1 in the best-of-3 series as the Blueprint Matt Morgan faces the phenomenal AJ Styles, who's headed to the main event and TNA World title match at Hard Justice.
Standing at an opposing 7 feet tall, he is the self-proclaimed DNA of TNA, a two-sport college athlete who propelled himself to the world stage on American Gladiators. He is the most genetically jacked, athletically stacked giant in TNA today. The blueprint of a perfect athlete. He is Matt Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is match 1 in a best-of-3 series. It is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Fairfield, Connecticut, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan.
For Matt Morgan, this 3-match series against AJ Styles could be a career changer. He is just 2 wins away from moving into his first pay-per-view main event, a World Heavyweight Championship match at Hard Justice on August the 16th against Sting and whoever will be World Heavyweight Champion pending tonight's iMPACT main event. As Matt Morgan said earlier, it's no secret that I want to be a part of the main event Mafia. And in my mind, a win in this series could open that door and could secure Matt Morgan's spot with Kurt Angle and company.
He is a TNA original, one of only 2 current superstars who competed in TNA's first ever event 7 years ago. A high flyer, a risk taker. His in-ring prowess can only be described as phenomenal. He is TNA's only Grand Slam champion. He is the incomparable AJ Styles.
His opponent from Gainesville, Georgia, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
This is it for AJ, TNA's first ever Grand Slam champion. Looks to move right back into the TNA World Heavyweight title picture at Hard Justice. Phenomenal AJ Styles gets that chance. This is match number 1 in the best of 3 series against Matt Morgan, and it's up next when we return to Impact. AJ Styles admits that Matt Morgan may be bigger, maybe stronger, maybe even more intimidating, but AJ is not going to be bullied. He said, Matt Morgan, you have found your fight, and we are all about to witness match number 1 in the best of 3 series, and there's so much at stake here, Don.
And the timing couldn't be more perfect for Matt Morgan. I mean, think about it. It's called a slump in baseball, and AJ Styles is kind of going through one right now. He even mentioned it, losing to Kevin Nash at Victory Road, losing that Legends title, and then not seeing Eric Young in the direction he's been going and upset when he turned on him. I mean, everybody could see that one a mile away. AJ right now is out of sync, and it's perfect for Matt Morgan.
You know, I look back over the 200 episodes of Impact, and I think about how AJ's career has advanced right before our very eyes here. We've seen him go from X Division champion to tag team champion to world champion, even Legends champion, becoming the only Grand Slam champion in TNA's history. And, you know, I touched on that X Division, which is really where AJ got his start. And I want to remind everybody that at Hard Justice, there will be a number 1 X Division title contenders match, but it's going to be contested in the Steel Asylum.
One of my favorite matches and one of the most physically challenging matches in the history of TNA, where the X Division athletes have to find a way to climb through the top of that steel structure and try to become the number 1 contender.
AJ gonna come flying off the ropes, ducks the Morgan clothesline, beats him in mid-ring, but the Blueprint caught him and gonna try and catapult him. AJ with the punches and Morgan able to move his head, stay out of the way of the contact, and then AJ goes flying over the top and down to the floor.
No substitute for height, no substitute for strength, as AJ couldn't reach the chin of Matt Morgan, and Matt Morgan just catapulted him over the top rope, and AJ in pain.
Yeah, you talked about the height, the overall power, the size advantage that Morgan has, but it's a unique situation for AJ because he actually has the experience edge over an opponent, and that's unusual for AJ Styles. He finds himself on a weekly basis facing the Angles and the Nashes and the Booker T's and the like, but tonight, AJ's been there before in these big, high-profile matches. Can't say the same for the Blueprint Matt Morgan.
Well, you know what? Matt Morgan reminds me of AJ a little bit in this sense. He's hungry like AJ Styles used to be when AJ Styles was chasing all those titles that you talked about. Matt Morgan's got that hunger right now. He wants to impress Kurt Angle. He wants to become a part of that main event mafia, and I mean, this is it right here. All he's got to do is win 2 out of 3 of these matches, and he gets in that main event in that championship match at Hard Justice, and you know Kurt Angle is going to be so confident having Matt Morgan in that matchup with him.
You know, I also think that Kurt Angle has to be upset over Samoa Joe's loss to Hernandez earlier tonight, especially that coming 1 week after Bobby Lashley rejects Angle in the main event Mafia offer. And, you know, things aren't going too smoothly all of a sudden for your main event Mafia boys just when you thought you had total domination here in TNA.
Well, you think you see chinks in the armor? You think the main event Mafia is falling apart? Let me tell you something. You lose a Bobby Lashley, you gain a Matt Morgan. I mean, there's a pretty darn good replacement in my mind, having Matt Morgan come into fruition in the main event Mafia. I mean, yes, sometimes things aren't going to go your way. That's because everybody's targeting you. Everybody's after you. So every now and then somebody gets one up on you, but the bottom line is the power is still with the Mafia, like the power with
Pin,
Matt Morgan.
2. What a shot by Matt Morgan. Speaking of bottom lines, as AJ Styles was elevated by Morgan and then thrown with impact directly into the corner turnbuckles, AJ just bounced back out of the corner, and I thought that the Blueprint was going to put him away and take a 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 series.
Well, he's getting the momentum. He's definitely in control, but AJ using that speed, and you can see there's where the size kind of came at a disadvantage for Big Mac.
Speed, agility, and maybe a little bit of the experience edge as well enable Styles to move out of the way of the on-rushing Blueprint. AJ trying to get it together. Morgan stalking him from behind. AJ unleashes the chops, the knife-edge shots, series of forearms to the top of the head. Here comes Styles off the ropes. Perfect drop kick to the chest, but the big man's still on his feet.
Can't knock him down. That's the amazing thing about him.
Oh, how about that? That took him off his feet.
I'll tell you, AJ Styles always shows resilience. I mean, that's one thing about him. He's a special athlete. I've always said it. We've always known it.
Big corner shot with the clothesline. AJ out to the apron. Stops, measures, and hits the flying forearm off the top. Right into the pin. Leg hooked, and no, just 2. Morgan barely got that shoulder up before the 3.
But the bottom line is he got the shoulder up before the 3. Most people can't do it. I mean, AJ can keep chopping that tree, but he doesn't knock it down until he gets the pin.
Quick reversal cuts off AJ's offense. And how about that knee right into the gut?
It's just impressive the power that this guy has. I mean, really and truly, we've both talked about it, Mike. I know you'll admit it. We look.
Oh, what a Pele shot by AJ!
Out of nowhere.
Again, caught the Blueprint, completely unaware with the shot, but the key is AJ going to be able to take it to the next step? Can he take advantage of a dazed Morgan? AJ going to go springboard. 450 splash, pin, 2, got it!
The winner of match 1, the phenomenal AJ Styles!
What a win for AJ Styles. What a win for the TNA Originals. He takes a 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 series. Let's review what we just witnessed.
And you can see it was all Matt Morgan at this point, using that height and that power to his advantage. Here's another example of that power that he had. But AJ Styles started making his comeback that ended with that 450 splash. Look at that again, and even that was too much for Big Matt Morgan, but keep in mind, that's only 1. You gotta get 2.
That is step number 1 in advancing to the Hard Justice main event. Match number 2 next week on Impact. Tonight on Impact, get ready for match number 2 in the best-of-3 series between the phenomenal AJ Styles and the Blueprint Matt Morgan.
Round 2 between Matt Morgan and AJ Styles. Remember, the winner out of 2 out of 3 goes to the main event at Hard Justice to face Sting and the world champion Kurt Angle.
Match number 2 in the best-of-3 series is up next. Here comes Matt Morgan. Get ready for the Blueprint versus AJ Styles.
If I wasn't a professional wrestler, what would I be doing? You know what? I think maybe I'd be a cop, because I watch a lot of cops on TV, and I'd really like to run down those guys who seem to be able to run a lot faster than our cops. I did play a lot of high school sports. I played football, and I done collegiate wrestling, and football was outside linebacker, fullback, and tailback, and then I wrestled 152 my freshman and sophomore year, and 160 my junior and senior year. Top 5 video game classics, or, you know, not exactly classics, some are still great. First one's got to be Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2. I got that for Christmas. Oh, unbelievable. Castlevania, there's another great game. This is so hard, man. Metal Gear, all of them seem to be on the Nintendo Entertainment System, at least 3 of them. I'd say for the Super Nintendo, it was Street Fighter 2 when it came out. I rubbed my thumbs raw, so I put a Band-Aid over it and kept playing. That's how dedicated I am. What did I want to be when I grew up? Well, I thought I was going to be a professional football player, or maybe even a baseball or basketball. I should have stuck with baseball. I probably would have had more of the opportunity, but basketball, you know, of course, I'm short. I'm not that tall, so that's not going to work out, and you don't see too many short guys in basketball. Luckily, wrestling opened up an avenue for me. Wrestling has taken me all over the world, from Australia to Finland, Switzerland, Japan. I haven't been to South America. So I think we need to move down that way, see what we can do. I don't know, go to Chile or Argentina. If they can get away from their soccer long enough, we can maybe have a wrestling show. The most important thing to me in life is that there's 3 things that I have in order. God first, family second, then the job finally comes in. The reason why I'm at TNA is because I put God first.
In anticipation of the second match in the best-of-3 series between AJ Styles and Matt Morgan, let's take you back to last week on Impact and review.
I mean, you talk about back and forth action. There was a point there where Matt Morgan used his strength to catapult AJ and just manhandling him at this point. But AJ Styles, so elusive with that quickness, always finds a way to turn things around. This devastating drop kick, and things started turning into his favor. And then, Mike, it was this 450 splash into perfection. Unbelievable, and even Matt Morgan couldn't get up from that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest on TNA Impact is match number 2 in the best-of-3 series. It is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Fairfield, Connecticut, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan.
When it comes to a must-win, pressure-packed situation, it's all on the shoulders of the Blueprint. After the loss to AJ Styles last week in match number 1 in the best-of-3 series, if Matt Morgan hopes to move into his first pay-per-view main event, if Matt Morgan wants to join Kurt Angle and Sting in the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match on August the 16th at Hard Justice, then defeat is not an option, but 2 straight victories is a must.
His opponent from Gainesville, Georgia, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Oh, we covered the pressure that the Blueprint Matt Morgan feels about this match, but such is not the case for the phenomenal AJ Styles. AJ took that must-win situation away with last week's victory. Now, the only Grand Slam champion in TNA's history needs just one win in the next 2 matches to see his name alongside Kurt Angle and the Icon Sting on the marquee at Hard Justice.
Mike, I look at this as a must-win situation for AJ Styles. The last thing he wants is for Matt Morgan to gain momentum, for Matt Morgan to get on a roll. And let me tell you, I was talking with Matt Morgan a lot about this. I mean, he considers himself the thinking man's wrestler. And he told me, he says he got beat mentally. That's what happened to him by AJ Styles. He has rewatched that match over 100 times, picking out every little detail of what he did wrong. He said he is so prepared that he's never been more ready for a matchup than he is right here tonight to try to get this first victory in this best-of-3 series.
If you recall from last week, we talked about the inherent advantages for both Morgan and Styles. The Blueprint, it's got the size, the power, the height and weight edge, but at the same time, what we saw last week in the victory for AJ Styles was that quickness that you mentioned, the overall speed, the agility as it's on display right here, and also the experience edge in terms of this big-time, high-pressure, high-profile match. That's on AJ's side as well.
Boy, he just was trying to rely too much on his strength, that great advantage that he has, and he forgot to look at the strengths that AJ Styles has. You can see AJ realizes that going right for the leg right from the start. I mean, that's one way you bring Matt Morgan down, but look at that, the extension that Matt Morgan gets with those long legs.
Oh, and as soon as AJ gets back up to his feet, he is decked again with another clothesline, and you see the reaction of AJ Styles to that clothesline right into the chest and right into the throat, the windpipe area, and it has dazed him. It's totally taken him out of his game.
Matt Morgan a few months ago might have lost his focus, but you can see tonight he's totally focused, and here goes those elbow pads. Once they come off, those elbows go right to the head, and look at those shots, one right after another.
Yeah, from the right, from the left. We talked about AJ being dazed before that. And he is in trouble right here as Morgan takes his 300-pound frame, squashes him in the corner, almost dares him to get back to his feet, and when he doesn't, he pulls him up and sets for a side slam, and instead of the slam, he just dumps him down. And, well, I mean, to be down 0-1 in a best-of-3 series, this guy's showing a lot of cockiness and a lot of confidence.
It may look a little nonchalant to the untrained eye, but what it is here, it's just his way of getting into AJ's head and let him know that he's not going to be intimidated. He does what he wants to do, and AJ Styles is in no man's land here. And look at this. Whoa! All the way across the ring.
Wow, the fall-away slam combined with the impact of Morgan tossing him overhead, and AJ lands on his lower back, right on his tailbone that time, and you can see that the blueprint is right on him. Maybe not so cocky and so nonchalant now. And again, trying to take his wind away, putting his throat right across that top steel cable. And here comes the blueprint right for him, and there's all of his weight right across his back.
Now you can see he's favoring that left leg. You can see that AJ's attack on it earlier did have an effect, but you know, you were talking about the cockiness and it's confidence to me, Mike. He's showing unbelievable confidence here. Even with the leg in pain, he's not lost his game plan.
Think about what the blueprint has been. Oh, my. Just out of camera range, Don, as we were looking at the monitors, and I didn't see that move coming. What a vicious, violent leg drop. Rolls him in, leads to the pin, but AJ kicks out. I was just going to bring up Matt Morgan's position when it comes to the main event Mafia. He's been vying to get a position, a coveted position with Kurt Angle and company. Can you imagine what Angle would say if he goes back to the locker room having lost 2 straight matches to AJ Styles? He's got him throttled right here.
He'll be done. His chances of getting in the main event Mafia will be over. He knows that. And look at that. Look at the quickness that he just showed. He knows how important it is. Wow. Oh, AJ, though.
Yeah, you talked about Morgan's quickness. Instead, it was Styles who outquicks him and connects with the kick.
What a punch. You can see AJ bringing a little extra now. He realized how in trouble he was, that Matt Morgan was doing whatever he wanted, and now he's trying to dictate the action.
Styles able to get the boots up. That's the first step, but then Morgan just shrugs him off, tosses him away. Clothesline misses. Pele doesn't. Here we go. Pin 2. No.
Unbelievable that he can hit that move on a 7-footer like Matt Morgan. That just shows you the kind of athlete that AJ Styles is. But here's something. I've seen him pin so many people with that Pele. Who he couldn't pin was Matt Morgan right there at that moment.
You saw his immediate reaction, the eye contact made with referee Slick Johnson, and he said, really? Just 2? AJ outside. Gonna go high risk here, and AJ headed up to the top. That allows Morgan to get back up to his feet, recover, come across. Styles outquicks him again, outside in shoulder block. AJ goes for the knee of the blueprint, and I think Morgan may have twisted it when he was trying to avoid the contact.
Well, AJ Styles had a game plan, and he's sticking to it, and it's working. Oh, he looked like he was going to go for a 450 again. Realized in midair it wasn't going to work. As this guy gets up to his feet now, Matt Morgan just put his neck right on the top rope with unbelievable force.
Just slingshot style that time. Throat first. Gonna go elevator. Takes the time. Could this be it? Could this even up the series? Got him with the elevator.
It's over. 1, 2, 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, tying the series, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan.
What an impressive victory for the Blueprint, Matt Morgan. And all of a sudden, as he makes the signal right there, we know that the series, the best of 3 between Morgan and Styles, it's even at 1-1. And our move of the match is sponsored by Quiznos. Buy 1 featured sub, get a second for $1. Go to Quiznos for details.
Well, you can see the move of the match right here. First, this leg drop that just stunned him, and then here it was, the elevator. And AJ Styles couldn't recover from that, and the confidence of Matt Morgan is rising every single second as he knows next week he's got a shot. He's 1 match away from being in that main event.
And that's what we will determine next week on Impact. Who goes to hard justice in the world title match, AJ Styles or Matt Morgan? This Sunday at Hard Justice, Kurt Angle defends the TNA World Championship against Sting. Who will earn the spot as the second challenger tonight on Impact when the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, meets the phenomenal AJ Styles? And don't forget, tonight on Impact, it's the last round in the three-match series to determine who goes to the main event at Hard Justice. It's going to be Matt Morgan, one-on-one against AJ Styles, and it's Sting in AJ's corner and Kurt Angle in the corner of the Blueprint.
AJ Styles, obviously there is a lot at stake tonight in your match against Matt Morgan. With the series tied at 1, if you were to take the victory tonight, it would be you, Sting, and Kurt Angle in a three-way match for the TNA World title at Hard Justice. However, if you were to fail, that would put Sting at a great disadvantage, being that he would be in that ring with Kurt Angle and Matt Morgan.
You're in the pressure cooker. That's what this business is about, isn't it, Sting? I mean, you know better than anybody. It's how well we work under pressure. I mean, this is what separates the mid-carders from the main eventers. No one's ever given me anything in this business, and they're not going to now. I've let a lot of people down. So one of two things are going to happen after this match. Either I'm going to be a winner, or I'm going to be a loser.
Matt Morgan, up next may be the single most important match of your career. A win over AJ Styles would put you in your first ever main event at Hard Justice. Win this, and it's you, Kurt Angle, and Sting for the TNA World title. You have to be feeling the pressure.
Pressure? Pressure? Really? What pressure, Lauren? None. Zilch. Nunca. None. There's no pressure here. You want pressure? Go see that sideshow midget AJ Styles in his locker room. He's the one feeling the pressure. The Blueprint's in the driver's seat in this series right now. AJ, you've had your time to flourish here at TNA. Now get to the back of the bus, because it's the Blueprint's turn. As far as I'm concerned, I'm so damn confident that I'm going to win tonight that I'm guaranteeing victory. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? I'm guaranteeing victory.
As we head into the third and final match of the series between AJ Styles and Matt Morgan, let's review the first two matches.
In match 1, AJ Styles won in spectacular fashion as he hit the 450 splash for the 3 count. But it was all the power of Matt Morgan in match 2 as he hit the elevator on AJ Styles to tie it up at 1-1.
Now it's time for match number 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your TNA Impact feature contest, the rubber match in the best of 3 series. It is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Gainesville, Georgia, the phenomenal AJ Styles. He's being accompanied to the ring by the icon, Sting.
With the best of 3 series tied at 1 win apiece, AJ's mindset is simple. It's black or white. Absolutely no middle ground. Losing, not an option if he's going to advance to the main event Sunday. And isn't it an interesting dynamic to have Sting in his corner and in just 3 days to potentially have him as an opponent?
His opponent, from Fairfield, Connecticut, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan. He's being accompanied to the ring by the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Kurt Angle.
I don't think there's any way that you can be more confident than the Blueprint Matt Morgan. He earlier guaranteed a victory tonight, a win that would catapult him into instant prominence, as well as his first pay-per-view main event, his first World's Championship match this Sunday at Hard Justice. And whoa, AJ gonna try and take advantage of Morgan. Look at this, AJ's gonna fly!
And AJ Styles starting it off in spectacular fashion. Let's look at this again as AJ Styles shows you why he's one of the greatest athletes in professional wrestling.
And I think he just awoke the sleeping giant that is the Blueprint Matt Morgan.
Well, if you're going to guarantee victory, you got to expect something like this, but One thing we know about Matt Morgan, he's such an incredible athlete himself, and he combines size and power with athleticism. He's always able to rebound and turn things around.
AJ able to hop the guardrail, catches Morgan off guard, and then the flying forearm shot caught him right between the eyes.
Matt Morgan's got to find a way to get him some breathing room here, get himself a few seconds to get his bearings. AJ Styles not letting up. Referee Earl Hebner knows how important this is, so he's got to let him fight here, but AJ really taking advantage of the situation.
Styles is just relentless on the attack. Gonna roll Morgan in, and finally we get the opening bell. Best of 3. This is the finale. This is the decider. This is where we find out who joins Kurt Angle and Sting in the TNA World Title match, the main event this Sunday at Hard Justice.
Well, AJ Styles working on that leg that he hurt last week on Matt Morgan. You can see Matt Morgan screaming in pain. It's Kurt Angle looking on. Both these guys, I like the idea of having them down here so they can see up close who they're going to be facing.
Figure 4 leg lock applied, and Morgan fighting through the pain, and AJ just staying just inches out of the reach of the blueprint.
Man, the screaming coming from Matt Morgan, just not something you hear coming out of that big man, but he's still holding on, he's fighting, he knows what this means, and he's not letting up as he's working his way to the rope, and he's got it.
Used his size edge that he has over AJ to reach across and grab and get the rope break. You know, you talked about Angle at ringside, Sting at ringside. To me, Kurt Angle in the corner of Matt Morgan, that's a concern. We know Kurt Angle is not above trying to swing things in favor of the main event Mafia, possibly influencing the outcome of this match. And honestly, I think Angle wants Morgan to join him in the 3-way against Sting to give him the numbers edge this Sunday.
Well, you're talking about Angle interfering. Let me tell you something. You can't put it past the icon Sting. He's been known to interfere in a match or two. In fact, just a few weeks ago, he interfered in that tag team match up with Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash against Lashley and Mick Foley, giving them the numbers game, which allowed Foley to get that Legends Championship belt.
You know, I cannot stress enough how important the outcome of this match is to the futures of both AJ Styles and Matt Morgan. A win by AJ, it not only puts him back into the world title picture, but it restores, it elevates his confidence.
Well, think about what a loss will do for AJ Styles. As you see him jumping over Matt Morgan, a loss. This guy, nice drop kick, but this guy's been in an unbelievable losing streak as of late. I mean, think about it. Remember Eric Young pinning him in the ring. He lost the Legends belt to Kevin Nash. He got beat last week by Matt Morgan. I mean, if this guy loses again tonight, his confidence is going to be gone.
Yeah, you just happen to overlook that victory by AJ over Matt Morgan to take a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 as he goes airborne and connects on the blueprint in the corner.
AJ Styles obviously wanting to get a running start. Whoa, the big boot from Matt Morgan just drilled the chest of AJ Styles and knocked the wind right out of him. That turns things around.
Talked about what a win would mean for AJ. How about on the other hand, a loss for Matt Morgan? That stops the elevation of his career. That upward mobility ends. There goes the world title shot. There goes your first pay-per-view main event. And also, there goes your potential to join the main event Mafia.
Well, as we watch these elbows right here go to the head of AJ Styles in rapid-fire fashion, you think about what a win would mean to Matt Morgan. If Matt Morgan wins this match, he becomes a main eventer. He'll always have that on his resume. And he has a chance to walk out the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And a guy like that, you give him a sniff of that, there's no telling where he'll go as he just flings AJ Styles off to the side.
And Morgan gonna follow that up with a pin attempt and gets a 2 count on Styles as you can just see that close-up look at the face of the blueprint, Matt Morgan. So many things going through his head because there's so much at stake. And there goes AJ, we talked about flinging, he just got flung right between the ropes and down to the floor.
I'll tell you something else, Mike, how important this win will be to Matt Morgan, because this would just about all but assure him of getting into the main event Mafia. I had a chance to speak with the Godfather, Kurt Angle, and he told me that this is the test, the final test with him. Get him in that main event, make sure he's there to watch Kurt's back, and it'll be the last thing that Matt Morgan needs to finally get his wish, and that's to be a part of the main event Mafia.
Staying assists, AJ back into the ring, but Morgan is prepared, waiting, ready, and boy, he is on fire. He is fired up, got the boot right across the neck of AJ, and as soon as AJ gets back up to his feet, Morgan's going to take and continue the beat down, the wear down, got his throat against the top rope. And here comes 7 feet, 300 pounds of Matt Morgan.
He's just punishing him now. I mean, he's just doing whatever he can to just take all the gas. Oh, was that close? All the gas out of AJ, and amazing how this momentum is completely shifted to Matt Morgan, and his guy's feeling it. What an athlete.
Couldn't agree more with you when it comes to Kurt Angle. The fact that he wants the blueprint Matt Morgan on his side, because when the winner of this match joins Morgan and Sting, that would be such a huge edge for the main event Mafia, as Angle will look to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Hard Justice. There's the fall-away slam.
Just flings AJ Styles overhead like he's nothing. Again, I don't know how AJ got the shoulder up. That's just instinct. That's just reflex. But Matt Morgan just toying with them right now.
And Sting is trying to get AJ Styles fired up, and that's what AJ needs. AJ needs to get rolling here against Morgan, back up to his feet, and as soon as he does, Morgan just cuts him off. That time was a headbutt.
What a headbutt it was. I mean, he just smashed it on the forehead of AJ, and AJ, look at him. He just can't get his balance. He can't get to his feet. He's wobbly. It doesn't matter what kind of instructions Sting's yelling at him. It's not doing him any good.
And the longer you watch this, it's almost as if Matt Morgan is just not going to be denied. And AJ, who had such a good opening flurry to this match, even before the opening bell, it's almost like AJ may have run out of gas. Morgan for the big boot in the corner. But AJ still got that quickness on his side. Let's see if he can get it rolling.
Big mistake by Matt Morgan as he hesitated too long before coming at him with that carbon footprint. He wanted to end it right there. AJ Styles, one of those where you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. And he's taking it now as those punches have a little extra something to them, as you can hear them. Oh, what a shot!
Oh, and then the kick to the back of the head. It rocks Morgan, but the blueprint just goes down to a knee.
Well, you can see this is maybe what AJ Styles needs. Is it enough? I don't know. The longer you take, you're giving this guy a chance. Oh, nice missile drop kick by AJ.
Here we go. Pin, 2, no! Springboard into the drop kick, and it looked like AJ had turned this around to the point where he was going to be victorious and go on to the main event title match this Sunday at Hard Justice.
You can see Matt Morgan favoring that left leg still. It was one that AJ injured last week on him. Obviously giving him problems, but there's a side slam. That'll turn the momentum around in his favor in a hurry.
Morgan back, pin, no! You can see that the blueprint is fighting through the pain, still favoring the leg as Don mentioned, and maybe that was the difference in not getting the 3 count with that nonchalant cover.
Well, you felt like AJ Styles needed to finish him off there. And you can see Kurt Angle, he knows now that Matt Morgan's getting things under control. And if Matt Morgan's wise, he'll listen to everything the Godfather tells him as he tries to get himself into that main event at Hard Justice. Oh, the quickness of AJ. Unreal.
Yeah, you have to question why Matt Morgan would go high risk at this point in the match, considering that injury to the leg, and it opens it up for AJ to come right back at him. Rocked him with the right hand, and Styles goes face to face with forearm shots up at the top here, and AJ gonna try and go all the way up to the top. Morgan fights him off, punches to the rib cage.
Well, you gotta wonder.
A headbutt.
You gotta wonder what AJ Styles is thinking, climbing up while Matt Morgan had his legs braced behind the ring ropes. Now Matt Morgan's got an advantage of height, but oh my God!
Pele! Out of nowhere! Here it is! This should do it!
It's over!
No! What else do you have to do? He hit the patented Pele move that has gained him so many wins, so many victories. There you see the replay, but it wasn't enough.
How he doesn't finish him off there is beyond me. That shows you what Matt Morgan's made of. Hitting that Pele that high on the... Oh, looks like AJ had a bad landing. Had a bad landing. Matt Morgan set up.
Carbon footprint!
Oh, it took his head off. Took his freaking head off. That's it. That's it.
Morgan wins it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the best of 3 series, the Blueprint, Matt Morgan.
We talked about how important this match was going to be for the future careers of both of these individuals. And just when it looked like AJ Styles was going to get the win and move into the title match, he made the mistake. The springboard move off the top, no good. Carbon footprint is there. The follow move, Matt Morgan has done it. And the main event Mafia is coming down the ramp to help the Blueprint celebrate.
Well, AJ Styles so dejected as you see Sting having to carry him out of the building as AJ just knocked out.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. Kurt Angle has just asked for a microphone.
Matt Morgan is main event Mafia bound.
First of all, I want to congratulate the Blueprint, Matt Morgan. He is going to be in his first main event at Hard Justice. Matt Morgan, when you got into professional wrestling, your size, your speed, your stamina, your strength, I knew the Mafia would recruit you.
You recruited me? You were scouting me? I could have sworn that I was trying to sell myself to you guys.
Listen, that don't matter. Whether you recruited me or we recruited you, it doesn't really matter. The fact is, at Hard Justice, it's going to be the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, versus Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, versus poor old Sting. Now, Matt, one small last favor, and you're in the Mafia.
One last favor? Help me out to understand this here, Kurt. What exactly are you saying? What's this one last favor we're talking about?
Don't be coy, Matt. One last favor, and you're in like Flynn.
In like Flynn? Hang on, you can't mean to tell me the 13-time heavyweight champion, the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle, is actually suggesting that I help him retain his world title this Sunday at Hard Justice, right? Come on, no way.
Matt Morgan, listen. I'm not suggesting.
Good.
I'm demanding.
Well, let me tell you something, little man.
What?
Nobody, and I mean nobody, demands anything out of the Blueprint Matt Morgan, and that includes you. If you think for 1 second, I'm gonna pass this opportunity up just for you, you're crazy, Kurt. Who knows when this opportunity will come my way again? So, Kurt, I'm just gonna leave you with one final thought to think about. And that is, I'm gonna come into this pay-per-view at Hard Justice this Sunday. I'm gonna come in as the Blueprint Matt Morgan, and you can damn sure guarantee I'm walking out the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
What is Matt Morgan thinking? You should always put the main event Mafia first and foremost. He may never ever have an opportunity to be a member of the main event Mafia again.
This was not what Kurt Angle expected. This was not what the main event Mafia expected, and probably not what Sting anticipated. Who leaves Hard Justice with the world title? Kurt Angle, Sting, or Matt Morgan?
I pump it up, TNA's gonna burn it down. We don't need no water, Major James gonna burn it down. We don't need no water, cause Filthy gonna burn it down. I burn it down, burn it down.
At Hard Justice, it's Kurt Angle versus Sting versus Matt Morgan for the TNA World Championship.
It's this Sunday, and you can't miss it.